Hey, listen up, you beautiful, beautiful people. We recorded a podcast. That's something we often do. We recorded a podcast about the Memphis 901 FC match in North Carolina, Cary, North Carolina, to be specific. And Jason Heitman and I spent some time breaking that match down. But as is the inevitable curse of all podcasters, we had some audio difficulty. I was able to save most of Jason's responses. My audio was pretty terrible. I cut out most of that. But that's okay. You don't need to hear me anyway. And we were overwhelmingly positive in the sections that unfortunately had to be cut. We talked about how Memphis 901 FC is actually a much better team than maybe we had expected, and that the chemistry is building, and that there are good things happening, and that we are playing teams that are considered very good teams in this league very, very closely, and that is all positive. With the audio that we were able to recover, there are some things that we are suggesting maybe need some improvement. It didn't mean for it to be that way. It just kind of happened that way. It is one of the unfortunate situations that you occasionally get into, and I won't say that we're being negative in this audio clip, but we are saying, all right, here are some positives. Here are some things though that do in fact need improvement going forward. But again, overwhelmingly positive. We went on the road. We got a win, followed by a very close loss to a good team, and then a draw with a team in the top three of the Eastern Conference. All in all, this is fantastic. So sit back, relax, and enjoy everything that I could possibly save from our interview with Jason Heitman on the 901 Soccer Podcast.
But it just hit the underside of the bar. And as a keeper, sometimes those things fall on one side of the line, and other times they fall on the other side of the line. In our case, that ball went straight down, did not clear the line, and North Carolina dodged a bullet right there on the Hackworth shot. So there were many opportunities to convert, and I feel like that's kind of the story of this match and why we came home with
I just,
one
it
as
started,
opposed to
you knew the
three.
game was going to be weird from that Hackworth semi volley into the post. Like just the way that came off his foot and just kind of rainbowed in. Like I honestly thought it crossed the line when it bounced down, but the way it bounced out, I was like, I guess optical illusion. But I was already like, I remember like sitting up and fist pumping real fast and then being instantly disappointed. And I think that's kind of set the tone for the entirety of the game. There was another opportunity, and you kind of grazed on it, but the part where Granderson was going into the box and he just, I don't know, I've looked back at it a few times. It looked like he just went down too easy, or it didn't really strike the ball all the way through. I felt like when the ball touched his foot, and I can't remember who got it to him, it might have been Hackworth or Collier, I can't remember exactly, but when it ping ponged around in there and it got to his feet, I was like, he's going to score. And then he just kind of whiffed it, or I don't really know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because the angle's strange, and maybe it's a different opportunity when you're watching it on in live or on at the pitch. But between that and then, yeah, just a bunch of different sequences where they had opportunities, and it's just like I hate to make fun of your team here, but it's like that old Arsenal joke where they just try to pass the ball in, and and I thought, I mean, I think it was pretty even in terms of possession. I only remember a couple of situations where I feel that we were exposed or we were pushed too wide, and North Carolina was able to kind of make some good passes and through balls to get into the box. I can remember a couple of chances they had, but I think it was just down again to communication. There's still moments where you notice, like, yes, these guys have been playing together for a couple months now, but at the grand scheme of things, that's only a couple of months in a long, hopefully a long history of the club. But there's just moments where you're just like, you could tell that there's not constant communication between the keeper and the back four. I thought Birch did a much better job of not just hoofing the ball every time or desperation, punting the ball every time it came to his feet. He was obviously much more composed. I mean, truth be told, like outside of one specific chance in the first half, they had that they got. I think it got blocked. I can't remember if it was from Caldwell or one of our defenders, but outside of that, and then obviously their free kick,
And then Caldwell made a great save. Caldwell did have one fantastic save.
Yes, he did, and I want to preface when I give him a hard time here in a minute that he did have a fantastic. I think he had a much better game than they scored him. But yeah, I think they did a great job of kind of containing the play, especially considering we played so aggressive up front. There were times that I know Allen's donut theory was still a little bit prevalent at times, but Grandison kind of bled into the middle, and once again, saved us from some mistakes that could have probably cost us the game. But
honestly, I think with Mark Birch, I think we've seen his quality this road trip, to be honest, especially in the New York game, with his 2 free kicks and also organizing in the back. And then there was no doubt who was going to step up and take that penalty,
Yeah, it was a great penalty too. He did exactly what he needed to do to get the goalie to commit to a direction. Yeah. And, that guy, you got to give it to, I can't remember his name. Maybe started with a Z or something. I don't know. Something.
Tim Bacchus was the other keeper.
Yeah. And he did a great job. Like that one save, he had that diving save to his left when that scramble in the box was going on. And you couldn't see it all that well on TV because one of their defenders was in the way. But you just kind of saw him glance behind. But yeah, to the point of Birch, I thought he did it. He showed his leadership. He showed why they brought him on, and because there was a couple of situations in all of these games. I mean, obviously the Red Bull one hurt only because we let so many goals go through. But all in all, like the other opportunities, like they could have all been losses.
Right.
If we didn't have some kind of semblance of organization on our back line, and he did show that. Maybe it was just like those first 2 games of watching, and he didn't really know how to handle everybody else, so he was just like, I'd rather be safe and just push the ball.
I think that's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah, and looking, kind of in hindsight and looking back on it now, like I think. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to review this team after the first year because, again, like we talked about this before, this is year 0.
Right.
Like, whatever we get from this is great.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'd rather not get one of those like Cinderella seasons.
Right.
Because then like the expectations are way too high. I think if we stay where we're at now, obviously as we gain more confidence on our attacking, and we got to if we can maintain the midfield and not give up so much possession. I thought the pressing for the whole team, I mean, granted that there is an offensive component to that, but I thought the pressure that we put on North Carolina was fantastic, and I hope that is a semblance across the entire team, especially going into tomorrow night and I guess this next run of games.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought defensively they did a great job. I would say the only, and it sucks for Caldwell on the free kick.
Yeah.
Because
that kid, he ripped that kick, and that's a guy who has scored hat tricks in this. He's already had 2 hat tricks, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's right. And so they just didn't start him, and he's really a top quality player.
Just the way that kick went and how everybody was a little late jumping to the ball.
Yeah.
Like it just went over everybody's head. And I almost wonder, because we can't see from Caldwell's vision, but that hesitation.
Well, he was starting to go to his left.
Yeah. And I don't know what he saw. Maybe he didn't predict it to curl, or maybe I'm not entirely sure, but it's just, you could sense a little bit of hesitation just from watching him like plant his feet. And then he always recovered. Like, to be honest, that guy, incredible athlete. almost was able to recover for that. And, it is what it is. And like, that stuff's kind of happens sometimes. Like, that's a kind of goal I'm okay being beat on, or like losing a point on, or I'm okay with the disappointment from that, because like, it's not like a crappy, like, deflection goal, or like,
Right.
you just got torn apart by the other team. Like, that was just a really good hit by that opposing player. And, it is what it is.
Yeah. So 1-1 draw. Moving forward, do you realize that if Memphis wins tomorrow night against Atlanta, or by the time this pod comes out tonight against Atlanta, they will actually be on 8 points, and that would put them in a pretty significant tie with a lot of different clubs for third place in the Eastern Conference.
Hey, as long as we jump Nashville, I really don't care. I mean, the rest of that, I'm okay with Indy 11, Louisville, Charleston, but if we can jump Nashville, that'd be fantastic.
And then we play them on Saturday, so who knows what could happen.
Yeah, I'll keep my mouth shut on that. I don't need any bulletin board material.
I know. They're starting. I'm afraid they're starting to hit their stride too. They had a 3-0 win over the weekend. So, Jason Heitman, man, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your analysis of this match, and we wish you well in your travels. And we'll look forward to having you on again in the very near future to break down another match for Memphis 901 FC.
Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Take care.
That'll wrap it up for this week. Remember, Memphis 901 FC plays Atlanta 2 on Wednesday night. If you're listening to that might be tonight. If you're listening to this when I intend for you to listen to this, then you're looking at tonight. 7 o'clock p.m., AutoZone Park. It is on ESPN News, which is a really big deal. It's the first USL match, regular season match, on ESPN family of networks. We're not talking about ESPN Plus and streaming. We're talking about actual television. They're doing that this year. Several USL games. In fact, Memphis is on again, but will be away to Louisville on that night. But it's a good deal. It's a big deal for Memphis. We need all kinds of people. We need everybody out there at AutoZone Park so that we look really great on TV. It's just the truth. There it is. All right, friends. That's it for us. I'm Scotty Smith saying thank you for listening to the 901 Soccer Podcast.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.